Assalamualaikum viewers. Bali Patili de la official to sign them. We are going to have a press conference very soon. The Patili will be coming, so I will tell you along. I'll be out on the Sakara Drong, UDP TV&MEDIA. I'll be doing a salon for the Bella. To come along, come and Kafale from the preparing. And the place is already set. The place is already set. Very soon, the cameras are already set here. Already. Everybody is almost seated now. So get ready. The moment that offline as you come in. Guys, camera back. Trouble man. Yes, camera back. Guys, when na fale nyamin dorong Bali Patili thing right now. We're preparing very soon. The press conference is going to start. Everybody is waiting. Our cameras are set. Camera will be set very soon. We'll be live here, particularly Sokono. Our main camera is already set, and the moment it starts strong, we're coming live in the main camera too. So we're just using the camera just to Katandala drone, coming down for progress on Nyaman drone. Very soon, so in Patila Fintra drone, we will come live. Coming up all the Nyaman drone. The camera is already set here. Yes, the camera is already set here. Let me talk to
you have I have get a photo. You can let him paradise.
Namol musanga sire ni dol ni mol dol nara mu ñanda ka safero so pour wol ci del ñanda lay ci ni mol ñen nara mi ñanda safero
ala ko mi ala sa
please no it's okay I see around the old friend get the journalist ni ñen la they should be seated
so good like this. So guys, I'll be preparing very soon. The moment many camera may use, I will go offline. So the other camera is going to start. So I will automatic start later. So I'll be nyama. Very soon the party will be coming out. I'm going to Rice, alwajek and everything is set here. UDP is powerful, huh? Guy control symbol eventual, huh? Guy control symbol over it. The UDP is symbol over it. So the cameras are set here. The symbol over it. UDP is symbol over it, huh? Guys, yeah. Anya yell, put it. The symbol over it. Yes. No. I moved on because no, I've been on the camera this summer. For Emma, my action. No. 1 meter up. Please, yes. Some kids can go, some kids closer to you. It's okay. You're fine. Sure. Very soon. The spokesperson is in, Mr. Dal.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
You welcome, sir.
So, let me just
Are you all set?
Yeah. Hello, mic test.
Ramsila. Agad.
You have one for Falan, right?
What's about? One for Falan. Falan. Baraka is the one.
The regional chairman then.
All telephone silent. All telephone silent, please. Silent.
I have never seen so many cameras. Good morning to you all. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think you can hear me loud, huh? Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak. Welcome to the office of the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the United Democratic Party. I want to start by thanking all of you for coming in these large numbers after a very, very prompt invitation to be here by midday. The United Democratic Party, under the leadership of Hussein Dabo, continues. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. That we have to operate transparently, we have to operate in a way that is accountable to the electorate, to the Gambian people. So this press conference is one in a series. This is difference in 2021. 2021 is important to the United Democratic Party, and I'm sure it is important to all of you present here. So we will be having monthly press briefings. The Secretary General will have a Q&A with the media fraternity to answer all questions of national importance, to lay across also the party activities and party programs for the 2021 presidential election. We are very pleased that the incident that brought us here, the Secretary General is here, ready, available to address all your concerns, all your questions. And again, like I said, you will be getting invitations from our office of the spokesperson to come regularly, either one-on-one with the party leader, party secretary general, presidential candidate, so as to answer any of your concerns, any of your questions as we inch towards December 2021. So on that short note, I want to thank you all for coming, and the party secretary general will now lead the press conference. Thank you very much for coming, Secretary General.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I say to all of you, Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem. So many of us here are fasting, and I pray that Allah the Almighty accepts all your fast and reward you abundantly as I promised. The past 72 hours has really seen, as far as UDP is concerned, a lot of publicity, some very positive and others negative, and others still in the midway. But I think it is important for the Gambian people, and indeed the world at large, to be informed of the genesis of this incident. Several weeks ago, we took 2 of our vehicles to a mechanic by name Mr. Dabo, so that they could be well serviced. Those that need repairs could be repaired, to put them in a state that is very roadworthy, so that the strains, the stresses, and the rigors of traveling around the country can be withstood by these vehicles. And he, of course, I know personally, and since 1996, I know that he has been also a member of our party, and that is why I thought that he should be one that should be entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of our vehicles and looking after our vehicles. I last communicated with him, I believe, on Tuesday, because I thought the vehicles were out for some time, for quite a long time, and whatever work needed to be done should have been completed. And his promise to me was that within the next 2 to 3 days, the vehicles will be delivered to us, overhauled, well maintained, and repaired. We understand that in the early hours of Saturday, someone who apparently works, I don't know whether it's an apprentice or whatever, in Mr. Dabo's garage, took one of the vehicles. For what purpose, I think he would have to explain. But you understand that he came across a checkpoint and he did not have driving license. And because of that, he got panicked and decided to reverse and run away. He did, but his attempts were frustrated. His attempts to escape was aborted, and he was apprehended. And at the point of apprehension, there was no search of the vehicle. In fact, he was made to disembark from that vehicle and put in a police vehicle. The vehicle that he was driving, the UDP vehicle, was taken charge of by the police, by the security officers, and they drove it to Bundung police station. My understanding is that at Bundung police station, the gentleman's reaction was that, you never searched me, I did not have any drugs in that vehicle. And the SO, or the senior senior officer then present, said, well, this is what Mr. Banja said, you have heard him. Why should you get him disembarked from his vehicle? Why did you not drive with him in his vehicle to the station? The following day, in fact, one day break, because it was Saturday, a search was conducted on the vehicle. A dog officer in the name of Korta was among people searching, and this officer Banja, Lamin Banja, was also present with the person who was driving the vehicle, who had taken away the vehicle. And when they searched, no drugs were found. In fact, I read in the papers today that they said 3 wraps, but my information was that not a single wrap was found on the vehicle. And when conducted further search, and at the back seat, they found 7 seeds of what is suspected to be the cannabis sativa seeds. And the gentleman insisted to say that he did not put it there, and he was innocent. And I contacted Mr. Dabo and said, look, what has happened to our vehicle? And he was in shock, because he did not expect anyone to take the vehicle. In fact, it was the key that was used was not the vehicle's own key. It was not the vehicle's own key. We are not claiming innocence on the part of the gentleman, but he has made his position quite clear that no drug was with him, and there was allegation that there was a third person or another person with him in the vehicle, and that person ran away. Now, if that person ran away, I don't know how that could be drug. Could it not be some other thing other than drug? But pointing out this to say, how could he be driving and someone, jumping out of the vehicle when they were pursuing him in a vehicle, virtually bumper to tail? If someone jumped out of the vehicle, one would have expected, with their training, 1 or 2 other officers would also have alighted from their own vehicle and pursue that individual. But none of that has happened. Yeah? We want to say that the UDP has always been against criminality in this country, and more particularly use of substances that are harmful to the individual. In my career as a lawyer, I have refused to defend anybody for drug cases. I've refused it, and all that is to show our revulsion for drugs and drug use. If someone on his frolic uses our vehicle without our knowledge, and you want to pin that on UDP, I think that will be most outrageous. I think that is very ingenious. And of course, I'd like to take a quote from the spokesperson that notwithstanding that this, political season, those are not the type of tactics that we get involved in. And I want to tell you, gentlemen of the press, that about 3 months ago, I had intelligence report or intelligence information that I should advise Modou Sabally, Ibrahim Adiba, Karafa Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba Jaite, and myself. We should be very careful where we park our vehicles. Even if we take our vehicles to car wash, we must make sure that somebody stays in the vehicle. Because the scheme now is, particularly me, the scheme now is to plant incriminating materials on us. And for Sabally, Diba, Saho, Yakumba, to silence them. And me to disqualify me. So I'm not saying, not accuse anyone, but I'm saying that, and I did caution them, I did advise them. In fact, Karafa, they had gone to the extent of identifying where he parks his vehicles, what time he does it, and what Atayavu he goes to. And when he's at Atayavu, where he puts his vehicle. They had gone all that. I got that intelligence report. And say anything, but there are very decent people in this country who do not want innocent people to be tainted with criminality for the sake of pleasing some other interest. And what is being tried to be done to make this UDP responsible for it, I ask this question. In the past, how many times have army vehicles been used by soldiers carrying bags of cannabis sativa? Was the Gambia Armed Forces held responsible for that? How many times have ambulances been used to ferry drugs using the siren to clear the way and intercepted? Has the Ministry of Health or the hospital where that ambulance services been held responsible for it? Government vehicles have been found, have been used in ferrying drugs in this country. Who has ever held the government responsible for it? Yes, opponents, detractors, would want to pin this on UDP. But there's no amount of distortions of facts. There's no amount of spinning of facts that will change the story. In fact, I think it exposes the security in the way they handle this matter. Why should they take the vehicle away from the chap who was driving it, put him in the police vehicle, and then they drive in their vehicle? And no search was conducted on the spot when the child was apprehended. And indeed, the vehicle locked, and they took the key away with them until they break. These gentlemen and ladies, we do not want to be engaged in anything other than putting the facts before you, and those who are capable of passing a decent mind test will definitely pass the test. But those who really cannot pass a decent mind test will really go on to condemn UDP and associate UDP with this. And it doesn't bother us. As I say, no amount of distortion, no amount of spinning of facts will really change this. This is being blown out of proportion. 7 seats, as I'm told. And I've mentioned officers who are present, blaming Banja and Korta. They conducted research, and 7 seats of what is suspected to come from cannabis sativa. Whether it is that or not, we don't even know. We don't even know. Yeah? But, you know, all these things that is done either on the social media or other medium is just to try to deflate or divert Gambians' attentions from the state of insecurity, how insecure we are in this country. You see what is happening in other places. They want to divert our attention from the rising cost of living and put focus people's mind on this. But they will not succeed. We will continue to talk about the state of security in this country, the rising cost of living, the ineptitude, the incompetence, and the corruption of this government. We will continue to say it. We cannot understand why, even if it's rap, you know, even if it's rap, you know, found in a, as they say, as I think I read in one of the papers, found in a bag, you know. What has VDP got to do with that? This is not an office of the UDP, and in fact, we do not even know him in the UDP. He could be a member, maybe, but we don't even know him. And he had no authority of the UDP to use this vehicle. He was on his own frolic, and you cannot really use that to pin on the UDP. I think what the media should be focusing more on today is the cocaine issue. The 2-ton cocaine issue. You should be concentrated, the media should be concentrated on that. Every week, true to his color, every week I hear Peter Gomez ask questions, or at least questions come, and he says, but this, what is being done about the cocaine issue? That is what should be engaging the people's minds, and not this so-called UDP UDP drug matter. I want to say that we expect the securities to conduct an unbiased, impartial, and professional investigation to this matter. Forget the UDP as the principal opponent of the administration under which they are serving, and see themselves as servants of the people, serving all people, notwithstanding their differences in their political persuasion. This is what we expect from those officers who are handling this matter. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for responding to our invitation at a very short notice in order to clarify, in order to put forward to you the facts as we know it. And these facts, as I've said, they are incontrovertible, and we have gone to name 2 senior officers in the law enforcement areas, mainly Banja and Korta. We would not dare do that if we do not have evidence, if we do not believe in the accuracy of that statement. Our people, since Saturday morning, have been with the security step by step on this matter. Wherever they move, our people move with them. So we are not making any stories. These are first-hand information that we have. But I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
Identify yourself.
Before the Q&A, the procedure is that you identify your media representing, and then you ask the question.
We have a spokesperson here. My name is Abubakar. I am the publisher of Sober News, and I am thanking Mr. Honorable Hussein Gabo, the Party Secretary General of the United Democratic Party, for this clarification. My concern is not the allegation or the propaganda that is currently on social media and other places. The area that I want to concentrate, which is a question, is how on earth was it possible for this person or those guys used a registered vehicle from the United Democratic Party? That's my first question. Because I see UDP as a very responsible party since I was young. So when I was coming to this press conference, Dr. Jan, Amadou Jan sent me the invitation yesterday. So I asked myself, but why should those people have access to the vehicle? Because the vehicle is what people are now talking about. It's from where? It's from UDP. So if the case is going to be a court case, I'm not praying for it. I know you are a legal personnel. You can just arrest this matter as soon as possible. But they will use the vehicle as an exhibit. And that's where they are concentrated. UDP pickup was, you know what I mean? That's my first question. I don't want to just prolong the question. The second question is, your intervention on the side of the drug, the cocaine issue, that was a very fair play. That is something that the media should concentrate on. Because this one just came right now. But the cocaine was there. And it seems that it is dying and then we are not talking about it. That we should press that one. Jammeh's days, it is worth 1 point something billion. We talked about it. This one is over that. So we should press. When we press here, we should press there. I concur with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let me Yes. You see, I think I've told you the genesis of this incident. We had taken 2 vehicles to the garage for maintenance and overhauling. It was under the control of the garage owner. So it was no longer under the control of UDP. It's not that the vehicle was here in my premises here and taken away. Then we'll be asked, it's under UDP's control. But this is absolutely under the control of the mechanic in charge. So the mechanic, and let me say, the mechanic himself was shocked because what he told me is that, they had finished with the mechanical work. So it was the electrical work, and probably this was the electrician who took the vehicle, maybe even unbeknown to the mechanic. So no one can blame UDP for really not exercising control, for being negligent. What you said, I agree with you, I agree with you. You see, it's a strategy, it's all part of their ploy to make sure that our vehicles are grounded so that we cannot go on our political activities the way we want to with the aid of our vehicles. That is why they want to plant on Mount Sabali so that the vehicles 2021 can be grounded. That's why they want to Karafa so that his vehicle can be grounded. Ibrahim Adiba, myself. That is deployed. That is all deployed. And I'm not sure, I think the lawyers will have to argue that, I'm not sure whether the vehicle can be used as an exhibit. I have not seen any vehicle being used as an exhibit. When they arrested the government vehicles, people carrying cannabis in the government vehicles, the cannabis was what was used as exhibit. They never used the vehicles as exhibit. Maybe they might try it this time, first time. You never know. It could be. You never know. They probably might want to do it this time. Yeah.
Second question is from a lady. Eh?
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Junior. I work with the Family Network. When you were mentioning the facts, you made mention that the security, sorry, the police should have searched the vehicle before getting the guy to their own vehicle. And then, yes, that is what you mentioned. So I was asking, are you concluding that maybe the police it's just a question. Maybe the police have a hand in this. Or in fact, maybe the mechanic that you give the vehicles to also have a hand in this. Because you really mentioned that if at all this is something that is really a straightforward, or there is something that is carried in a professional manner, the police should have searched the vehicle instantly instead of taking the guy in their vehicle and leaving this one behind, in fact taking the key with them. So is there anything you're trying to tell us there? Thank you very much.
Well, I have told you those facts so that, I don't want to draw any conclusions. I want the people, the reasonable people, to draw their own conclusions. Was it right for them to get this gentleman off the vehicle, put him in the police vehicle, and they take charge of the police vehicle, of the UDP vehicle, and drive it to Bundu station? And in the light of what I have told you, that the intelligence report we had, that myself, Sabali, Diba, Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba, we should be careful, because we intended to plant drugs on us. I mean, what could a reasonable person conclude? This was planted. This was planted. Why did you get the man out of his vehicle? You should have driven with him in his vehicle. Go to him and conduct, if you don't it on the spot, on arriving at the police station, conduct the site there in his presence. That's what should have been. But I leave it to you people to draw your conclusions from it. Yeah.
The third question goes to a lady also.
Gender bias.
We have to be gender balanced. We have the national president and the deputy party leader here. So.
Actually, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one is for covering you for Kobe.
But remain fine introduce follow them.
Okay. I said quality and I work with Gambian Talents team. Yes. My first question is covering you for the Hanimbi, more diamo social media and in Hanina communities also about 400. And the first time, we never can after last time to Nanata police investigation or Karobari Naran and Abitaka Naman, but whether it's going to be negative or positive. We never can a particular stance. And the other question is, Naran Lufanako, police or Nika covering your operational start, Nika zero crime community, operation and Kabaka. Now, you never come publish like a new publish when you put your phone, you will more broken. They publish more yet. But in Nigeria for this time around, you particularly in a motor tire published. It has something behind it for yet. You know, other activities are communication as Seattle. So in a facal silence, the journey to what
direction. Barakabake, illa Nilinkar follow about police all. Police investigation. Member kalan law nyati jeto. Well, whatever depend la ila conclusion ole kam. So konga memfo ngayilla memma o ngamenji ko ngamenya takela. Kolon police olu ibela do ko kala nyamale ite fasar kala jeto to nya damma ibole fasala jeto. Men jeta weke wefo. Kona fo nyame kese saba ko kuli saba ido sobita kafo ko abata cannabis lebara fo kesolo ko cannabis kesol lomba fo nyo kesol lomba fo mun kesol lomba mo malo ya bari ba fo kanyame e kamera kafo ko motobe farine motobe farin jambalale hani men safi kayto fanto itale men safi kayto e ko 3 rap saba wala safi kayto bari kafo nyame e kamera kafo ko mba mande tono le katata ni moto bari moto nyila nyini kar fulan jam moto nyime yadna yaga isinyi lon kafo ko ibe political la amanke fen finata amanke political yaji ke kafo ko nyine be UDP toti nyanola nyine be UDP la darajo nyine ba jindila wala yatinna yo kuke de mandal la menkela e kamotol ni articles of crime ke mutajanya e kamotol ni cannabis mutajanya badi kamotol natal ko e mempo ya mel muta ya fengal mel muta e kol damma ne fenke bar niaje e be nyin keka e ko be political la pour UDP ka totinya ka UDP darajo dindi adun ko ngam memfo yama ko nilu isata ya tinya nyaawo nyama ya jawjandi nyaawo nyama wata kala kafa ko UDP UDP responsible ala nganyem foye but in fact ila an question no de answer wolung la wasuto na dinding kende or at least ngamera na dinding kende but unfortunately by the political and the I wouldn't spare to Musa Suso at that station not the that night on this matter. So in a machination, they started right there. Musa Suso at Law Benna, they cannot deny it. Police officers were there, they cannot deny it. Why would he go there? At Nganinjele, Kava Kone UDP incidents katado, NPP la mo kumal, ekata police. It happened with Yakumba, Frank Tata, Sehumbala Tata. What doesn't happen? To give it a political coloration. But in nothing that this is a good weapon in their fight against UDP politically. So, Motola Natalo Nying, foka UDP to steer the mall that Romobi Mafla UDP. Don't buy you Mafola, don't buy your Mafola. But I knew Mafola, what is that Mafola? I can tell you that.
Yes, gentlemen.
Yes, I am Adam Martin from One Newspaper. Considering the fact that UDP, to my personal opinion, is not only a democratic party but noble and professional, do we have a mechanism already set or stationed to avoid a situation of this nature in the near
future? In fact, even before this incident happened, I was approached by professional, well, this gentleman is also a professional mechanic, but established garage owners to discuss with me the handling and maintenance of our vehicles. In fact, on Thursday, I spoke to one of them, and my appointment with him today is at 11 o'clock. I don't know whether he's outside waiting. My appointment with him is today, where we see and discuss these things. And I've also been contacted by another well-established garage, so that we discuss these issues of our vehicles. My personal vehicle goes to that particular garage for maintenance. But this is a party vehicle. I didn't want to take a decision on that without really consulting with the relevant people in the party who could reach at that decision. But certainly, we are taking that measure to ensure that nothing happens like that in the future. But again, you can only take that to such measures when you take the vehicles to a garage for maintenance. You park your vehicle in an area or in a home where there are several tenants. What precautions? Because it's sometimes difficult. Because other tenants in the place would go in and out, and other people come in and out on the pretext of visiting other tenants in the place. So all that we have to do is just to be vigilant and extra careful. And I think this is a wake-up call for all of us.
Any lady want to ask a question? we have to be balanced here,
My name is Binti Jama and I work for iAfrica TV. My first question is, who do you think is responsible for what is happening right now to the party with regards to plotting and everything that has been said? And secondly, also, we've seen in the police report what they wrote yesterday on social media saying that suspected cannabis were found in the vehicle. And you said it wasn't. Like you said. So how is this? Because it's contradictory. Thank you.
Well, no, I think your contradictions. I'm not sure. You know, they have put forward their version. We have put forward our version. You know, and certainly we believe in the credibility of our version. That is why we have gone to the extent of naming officers at the present, and gone to the extent of saying how the operation went about. So, if there are contradictions, we leave it to people with unbiased minds to really reach a conclusion. And who should be held responsible? I don't think that will be for me to say. I think the investigations should really point at the person or at the individual who is responsible. But what I just want to say is that you can spin, can do everything, but UDP is not in this at all. Because what they are using, the use of the vehicle, that's why I said when the Gambia Armed Forces vehicles was used, why didn't you say that the Gambia Armed Forces is responsible for this? Government vehicles, why is the government not held responsible? That government was trafficking in drugs because their vehicle was used. In fact, in those cases, by their employees. And in our case, in this particular, the person is not our employee. We didn't even take the vehicle to him. We took the vehicle to Mr. Dabo, and Mr. Dabo was not the one who was driving the vehicle. If Mr. Dabo had been driving, because well, you know, you had given him the vehicle, he has the authority to drive that vehicle. That's not even the case with us. So my point is that, you know, you cannot put this on UDP if you fail to hold the government or institutions in the past whose employees were found carrying cannabis in their vehicles. Yes, madam. Sorry, let me give the lady. I'll come back. No, let's give it. After the lady, I think he'll come to the gentleman there.
It's not camera again.
Oh, okay, second time. Oh, second time.
She has the mic.
Okay, sorry.
She has the mic.
We apologize for that.
I overrule you guys.
We apologize.
Yes, it's not camera again. We've seen UDP over the months criticizing the government for the issue of the drug that you mentioned here.
For
the issue of the drug. Criticizing the government.
The cocaine drug.
Yes, yeah, for the issue of the cocaine drug that you mentioned here. And now people are using this issue of the UDP against you. Do you think this will affect UDP's stand in trying to criticize the government in any drug case or any drug issue? Thank you, that's my question. In America.
I think that's what the people who are not capable of rationalizing properly, having heard the facts as narrated by me, you would say that, look, you know, these things were planted. That would be a conclusion. And the two are incomparable. You see, the cocaine has an international dimension. It has an international dimension, and its destructive nature is far worse than even if it was true, the tree rats. It's far more than that. This was cocaine commercialized to sell, to destroy not only the lives of people in the Gambia, but in other parts of the world. And since the interception of that cocaine or drugs, nothing serious has been done to prosecute it. And then you start questioning, how did Mr. Banta Keita, how did he escape? with a vigilant security force. And when I say vigilant, I'm not confining this only to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, but even their sister institution, the SIS, which I understand has the ability of really gathering information and then tracking people down. How could it escape them? And with this, that look, this is a government complicit, and I want to agree, and I did say so earlier on in one of my interventions, and I agree with Council Boriture at the TRRC that this quantity of drugs, those type of drugs, cannot come into any country without the government knowing anything about it, because they would have done the preparatory work before they would come. They just don't come there, unprepared. They would have done all the things they need to do, get the necessary contacts, and then bring the drugs in. That cannot have the intelligence operatives in this country could not have failed to really know that since the drug left its port of departure, they ought to have been traced. They should have. So to really compare that with this what they call trade rafts, I think people who are really have prejudiced mind against UDP will definitely say so. Definitely, yes. So, and certainly, it's not going to affect the popularity of the United Democratic Party. It's not going to affect the chances of the United Democratic Party. They wish it could, but it's not going to, because the Gambian people know the schemings of governments against the UDP. I've told you, why would Musa Suso go to the go there? Go to the police. Why? Deputy Governor of West Coast Region, a few days ago, you saw him organizing former APRC NAMs to join, and then to make sure that Barrow is elected. So for him and others like him, anything that will diminish UDP's chances would be their mission. So, but we are not bothered. Thank you. Who that was it?
Yes.
I think this gentleman.
This the gentleman in black. The gentleman in black.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sankoli Janko. I work for the
Sankoli Janko. Yeah, yes.
Sir, looking at after listening to your genesis, it seems like it's been, it is not calculated enough, because if I understand you said the key to the car wasn't even used, which means a different key was used to the car. I just want to hear it from you officially. Do you think it is premeditated? Let's say it is staged, bearing in mind that election years we do see so many things happen. Is this really staged against UDP?
Well, you see, as I say, I do not want to make any conclusions. We have stated the facts, and we want reasonable people to make their conclusions, to draw their conclusions from it. Really, in the first place, at that hour of the night, why would, if it was during the day, you may understand. But that late night, why would anybody use that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? Why that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? So we leave it to people to draw their conclusions. As I say, investigations are going on, and which we expect to be impartial, unbiased, and professional. So we want to wait for the outcome of the investigation. And of course, if it goes beyond the investigation, then we can go. Then we can go and really defend the image and reputation of our party. Yes. No, I think there are two gentlemen.
anan ko danke nan ni ka tan na mutum muso me ya lon ko atam police sole muso ni na na ka audio bula ka celebrate ni ko ni da ka celebrate UDP aflo lo ko be kilometer ko
anen motol be mel bulu pe yamar la men wolon be sak hakil tuoti kanak hakil tuoti damman par hani be mel bulan la ni melon isi haklotu kadu ko fensi tare bulle me yalon kafako luwa man song mo yamuta o de si haklotu motorcycle volta sona yata ba mala motorcycle fonna tarade ibe itata mitin la ya pak bari suto jama ke la motorcycle dundu ila bungulla kono woto wolu pour ka ko ke wala be kole yada o ko la fana fente motorcycle wal bala me yana ka ko si fen sekiage bala jeto pour asi nukun mota jala wasi kole ya barakata nyawonya hakil tuwal tuta mbema kew hana man ke UDP fi ko zanta ani UDP non officials nyoro ila motolu be nyanta la ngan hakilo to kadu ko men kata ten asikeno na motol la wala na jabi anda ya police muso men ko faten well nte fam fala woto man of police olombang for kadu ko joint operation lomo for police olombang for immigration olombang for SAS lombang for soldier olombang malo par akata security sector dokulate ngamira ila nyaton kolu yala ko momoyle wato etel nyantale maybe nyanta menkala isa ke mallafi fanan ka ajay lota kala ala dokulla kam moma yalon ka ko delinquent officer nalon ka fo abe san frenyela wala manya kuru etafula ka ko ala dokudla abwake kan wala tola o ya sanction tafala ka ko the Department of Immigration, the police, army, or whatever security outfit actually belongs to, the actions of the delinquent officer man left to hold them responsible for that. If the head of the institution makes that statement, we will come down that path very heavily, but not moment really and tem fambatan la wala ko
John
yeah
Thank you very much. I'm Keba Amsawani, the freelance journalist. I would like to ask Mr. Now, the fact that we are in election here, if this incident happens to be politically motivated, will you be disappointed by the actions of the police? And also, are there efforts to recover the vehicle that has been impounded and at Bunyo? You did mention here earlier that usually when the police, apprehend suspects, they screen them. I mean, this is relative to cannabis. But here we don't see them following the cannabis, but rather, they are following the people. Are you also disappointed with this? And what is going to be your final advice to them? Because we are in a very critical time, a few months before election, and then if this trend continues, I hope it will affect the democratic process towards the election. Thank you very much.
Well, first question, whether this is in an election year, whether this is not going to affect us. So that was a question.
Whether it's politically motivated.
That may be politically motivated.
This issue was politically motivated.
No, if it is, if it is politically motivated, I will not be disappointed, because I know that desperate people take to desperate actions in order to survive. So really, I wouldn't be disappointed, although I think it will be very shameful. It will be very shameful. But then I hope that it will remain shameful. But I want to also add that one is known to be politically motivated action. That will make the Gambian people and all reasonable persons to despise those who are behind these very scandalous efforts to demonize and put UDP in bad light. It makes people despise them, and even people who work with them, whether it's in the security forces or even if they are doing it on behalf of a political party, some members of that political party will definitely despise such a move, because people want to have free and fair elections. And to have a free and fair election in this place, everything should be above board. Everything should really be above board. Your second question was?
Whether the people now
recover the vehicle.
Well, no, I mean, you said the police were just showing the vehicle. You know, we want to wait until the end of the investigations before we say anything about that. And we can tell you that, you know, we'll put together a team of lawyers to be on the standby for us, not for the person, but for our vehicle. You did mention that they are showing the vehicle. I'm not sure what I saw in the papers and in social media, whether it was the police that actually took photograph of the vehicle and put it either on the social media, or at least I saw it on Standard or on Standard newspaper. It could very well be the reporter of Standard newspaper who went to the police station, took a snap of the vehicle and put and have it there. So I don't want to blame the police for that, because I do not know who really was responsible for putting out the image, the photograph of the vehicle in any media outlet, be it Standard or any other newspaper. But for sure, for NPP, it was the NPP people who really, the Barrow media, it was them who really did it. Yeah, that I can tell you.
Kamaraba.
Yeah.
Kamaraba. Yes. But then we are talking about gender parity, but you cannot ask all the questions.
Maybe after this gentleman. Maybe after this gentleman.
I am Patrick Kamara from Kamaraba Official, and we have money account. I am more well affected by the Mota, the Native Following Minister. I have a support and following the implant for patio canal loan or the canal loan, the patio program. Minabekila, come to the main point that the Mube Bambana, woman to be in Damona, for UDP Columba, in the UDP report, as a senior capital, as a hat to the Masakula, Karela Capol. In Carol Flanjo, Moto ni alo abe lori as bundu police personnel. When you understand certain amount of drugs, maybe you are practicing more. What is happening? I don't know. How come you have to take so the money? Fero de kiri bang kalam modo bondi di bang. Sabanyang million long aliya long modo somebody for alamodo beni moya. For mirat bi jele bang. Kewal samba kito la bang for the mirat bi. Kada aliya long modo di moya. For the okay, for the event, we don't want to play Mr.
Okay, Kokamol Haklo Sabatindi, Ransimen for no dang, Wallon, UDP Kodu, Albala do Comena, Alcodina Kodo Kokadama, or Ranam Kumodin Simen for Altinil Lofanan Kafuka. Hanatra allora ko ye drogolu ye boto tang yole star nyamoto ko woto senda bo balno la dola kadu ko mamuto senda bo so wo nimme yo mi rafana ngamira hanibide ibe ko mo lela bari la ko mo ni maye mutaje do folo ko mo ni ka ko fu senda fasilo and about the quantity of the drug, should warrant Motonyam Purka impound Well, man left cafe photo. Le nga fele kon left kambe na team of lawyers put la together. Wollu lebo jubele. Kadi man left kuma fajanto. Ma yaron ka ko ni na lawyer la kuma man ta ko clinton. Na ko na moto be mel bulu foke samba kiti wala. Well, wo lawyer le ba fono la nya fo sila bem bulu against them. Kadi kon tabla ka ko be samba la kiti wala. Wo ya really iman sila soto against them. Kadndal nga di menna moto di menna womo Mr. Dabo lati Buba Dabo par Buba Dabo ma moto nyama samba fo me moto nyi samba fo Buba Dabo le authorized bam fo ma authorized bam kadu kutentel ni wokke ma me moto nyi samba kutentel ni wokke ma but again na loyal le bentel advice la wala natra anyanta sita kiti wala ban natra fana sitano kiti wala le adoba te be yam if sin yamar ko nyindo ajare tal ba leta kiti wala ba bani election yamen to konate for imari ila attention imanya na focus da on something else la than me so but a baby depend on the lawyers nel don advice la men I think that
gentlemen
I'm a colleague Paradise TV. What I want to ask is, has the UDP set an eye, physical contact, on the self-suspected cannabis? Because according to the police Facebook page, it has not been said that it's cannabis seed, but cannabis. And to clarify, the picture that you've been saying that it's exaggerated, it's clearly given to the police Facebook page. So what I want to confirm is, has the UDP set an eye on this? If yes, what exactly did they get? Is it the drug, or is it the weed or the weed seed? Because it has been said that it's like 3 bundles of cannabis according to social media reports. So can you just clarify that?
Well, according to social media reports, that is their version. And according to the police, they say, is that official police page? Is that police?
Yeah, police.
Police.
Yeah.
And what I saw written, you think the police will write that? UDP has been tried to court, pleaded not guilty. Is that what?
No, I mean the vehicle.
No. But what was?
They said suspected cannabis.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, cannabis. So I want to know if it's actually the cannabis. Are the UDP seeing a cannabis or cannabis seeds?
Well. I'm not sure whether the definition of cannabis, whether it's just limited to the leaves, or it even covers the roots and the seeds. I'm not sure whether it's just the leaves. Does it cover the branches? Does it cover the seeds? Does it cover the roots? Again, these are legal things that we want to leave. We want to leave to our lawyer. But I have told you that our people, we are with them step to step at the Bundu police station. And there's no doubt that what was discovered were seeds. That was what discovered. If the seeds were not discovered, and we wanted just to make the gentleman look good, we said nothing was discovered. But the truth is that is what, and the gentleman even protested that, look, he did not put it there. They cannot put it on, he protested. And Mark Jeto, he protested. Because the way I was told the trial went on, if you look for seeds, you don't find it on the floor, and then you go on the back seat, trying to see what is at the back seat. Probably know where to find the stuff. Madam, can we give the other gentleman a chance, and then we'll come on.
Yeah.
After that. What is it? It is Jeha.
It is better.
Okay, security used against innocent people in so many areas. So nata de ko sign tumiro nata to kankane ko yetro ko de mutalla moto wato min nan tenga nyimo inkido em fala because akiran fi kam woso mo be UDP ban because mune asabu kido em fala kuma kawo nata nyame amambo journalist amambo police PR wala bota one immigration officer le ka be asa sisi yo andum kabili nyimma sakundana ko follow ye men follow even when more baby coalition the world security sector reform but the security sector reform mantra keka because natra ketan to no yimmo sunde wonde kankularo directly ate afonyami anatoli afonyami manke kile ate afonyami won nyinte ko UDP la moto ifene group jama moto wala kono andal fero kaneni audio ki bayto live so ndela flamin lonya nalo ne ko ni UDP la man sakundale bide ibe yoko address la ko UDP is the main opposition party say nyina irresponsibility I mean kete as a police officer albe mune simfanya di letala wota puro anyomo seda because I told the government in waiting ni atra musa ha ora binani
yeah ngamira modo nene modo nyin question something like this ngamira do yanyi ka janne but ngamem fo wolong ni officer ni malon abe formation jumalto but ala head wayalo kumol mo so alimbe nga si nga jube ala head of department be mun disciplinary action letala against her ning sida fotil tanyon manko mamoy o ye fem public ka ko na officer ni ay menke yama nga nyum couleur la ka dan watumo sinana juwe menyanta kala bari namem yalla man la ko nilu nyin ko nyin naja ya tate ba hawla ilafta mol la nyinandila ko men fotel lack of security member banko ka ilafta mol la nyinando wala feng la dakuya marse auto balu wala koleya ilafta mol la nyinando wala kurang la soto balia bi ni mobe diam kamanza konko akonya ko na janto jiti janto kuranti janto kando kandiabe mol fala elafta mol nyinandila wala kafo ko UDP bari ilo kata ko be abe ko la zero kadi to tem gambian kodu kunin talisai yalo ne kafo ko mote I haklo nyaminola ke haklo bondi kuka memu itala everyday problem mote yama ni ko fana ko be UDP di register la well elections act même fo mbi da wala ibe dal la ko di la de dal la ko yo ibole di la adun ngaji ko dali lo me kalamen wala nyemme ko ke UDP la yabula da ba knowledge ke so the registration o man fenke but let us assume ka ko keta wala o senda wala balla lo la ba asan independent candidate lillo da tan independent lillo da tan independent candidate o UDP mel be from corner to kato e be bula na usenda wala I think that is somebody over there.
Yeah. Yes, gentlemen.
And then maybe we can give the lady.
Yeah, the lady will have the last question. I think we've been here long enough and most of your questions have been answered.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Mandavo, about a newspaper from the United States. My question is about the follow-up of what Mr. Sonko asked about the lady. Because, when she was, commenting for people to share on the social media, she was like very happy and jubilant. And it could be possible that I stand to be corrected, but it could be possible that it's not a support of the United Democratic Party. Don't you think that the immigration department or the joint police services to do something about it since they have a PR? Number two, you spoke about Mr. Suso organizing the former members of the National Assembly, APRC, to join together in force to support the borough, the NPP. What is your stand, the UDP stand, on the issue of Mr. Suso occupying a public office when he has already been convicted of drug peddling?
Well, the lady who identified herself as Cisse, as I've said, the Director General of Immigration has seen and heard how relish she was in making that statement. Very happy, very jubilant. Really betraying her lack of professionalism. Now it is left to the Director General of Immigration to really take the appropriate action. Whether such individuals, such delinquent persons who are dragging the reputation of that department into the gutters, whether retained in that office, political bias for security. So anyone who belongs to UDP and comes into contact with that lady on a security-related matter, you can be sure that you will not get any fair treatment. You can be sure of that. So it's left for the Director General. And we are not going to say anything until, as I've told Mr. Boja, until after 10 days. We see what action has been taken. Now, for Mr. Suso, I think I want to be very generous to him. I think when he last served his sentence, it's more than 5 years, and I think more than 5 or 10 years. So I believe even as a member of National Assembly, probably he could contest. I'm not too sure, but I think so, because of the lapse of time, But the cardinal thing as far as he's concerned is that he is holder of a public office, official office, deputy governor, responsible for the biggest region in this country with diverse political persuasions. So he should not be seen to be really advocating for the election of any political leader or the re-election of Adama Barrow. At the Public Service Commission, I think, should really take the appropriate step. And I believe the chairman of the Public Service Commission is a very principled person, very decent, very honest. Anything really tainting the integrity and the image of the public service, I think he'll do something about it. So we leave again, we throw the ball into their court. For the lady, we throw the ball into the court of the Director General, and for Mr. Suso, we throw the ball into the Chairman Public Service Commission's court. Let's see what they do.
The lady will have the last question.
I want to make a follow-up of what Honorable now said. You made mention that in the past we have ambulances and security vehicles, that is the army vehicles, being used to convey drugs. Can you cite any example of that? And the other question I have is, did you receive any letter, like official letter from the IGP or the Drug Enforcement Agency with regards to this issue right now?
But I don't know, when I say Madam Fat Kamara Junior, I don't know whose Junior Fat Kamara you are. But, your boss. Oh, well, that's why, You see, you are too young to know these things. I did not have to get a letter from any security agency, whether drug law enforcement or the Inspector General of Police. These things were published in the papers. Everybody knows them. Published in the papers, and people are prosecuted and convicted. So it's not a question of trying to say something, because it pleases me. But this is factual, and probably if you talk to Fat Kamara Senior, she'll tell you that this had happened here in the past. ambulances, using the siren, army trucks, government vehicles. Yes. So it has happened. It's not a made-up story. People here, much older, they know these things. Yes. Yeah.
I was hoping that maybe it was one example. Or maybe.
Well, they are so long at the time that, but I know that ambulances have been used, and nobody can dispute that. Army trucks have been used, nobody can dispute that. Government vehicles have been used, nobody can dispute that. If you have to go to the archives, you will see them. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I really think I should thank you. The party leader has given you 1.5 hours of the Monday, which is a very busy day. And like I said also, we will be having regular interaction with the press. We believe in absolute transparency. We are accountable to the Gambian people as a political party. And whenever events and issues arise where we need to give our version of those events, we will come out and, in a no-holds-bar way. There is no filter, there is no editing. Usainu Dabo will answer your questions directly, one-on-one. It's not that some spokesperson will come and read a statement. So really, we want to thank you profoundly that the next series of press briefings will be specifically on the party's agenda for 2021. Each and every policy area that we have been working on over these last 3-4 months will be the subject of discussion. So we want you also, as our partners, the media, to come prepared to do the necessary research so that we would feel that the work we are doing, we are not doing it just for our own edification. So again, thank you very much for taking the time and for joining the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the UDP in clarifying this matter. Thank you. Alnimbara Jerejenjef. I'm sure we will see again very soon. Jarama, jarama, jarama.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Madunglu, comme na fale nyaming, bali parti di la official to Nintembeng, ka kibarol diala ko nyanda ke diala nyaming, ala baraka bake for being with us here. Atumeli along ko ale program here. Ma flale ko ala baraka bake contenta. Your stand was very good. Everybody is happy. Movie contentale. Kajoko asenya comme na fale nyaming don UDP la long ko be kala nyatu wati kana ko kulta ke senenda le ko nyanda ke nyaming. Kale ko to nyala be sabatla minin tafal to nyala be sabatla minin tafal to nyala be sabatla. Ala baraka bake. Thanks for your time. Contenta Bakele. Ale program sia, Ala baraka bake. Thanks for your time. Ala baraka. Good. Yes, guys, I'll be having an interview with Malik Sow. Malik Sow, me alonko joined to UDP. Na interview plan, my interview. So I'll be having an interview with him. So guys, follow us comme na fala ñamen do kol min tala ke samana le lon ko min da ka ñamen ala barka baki Msakora ede mun ko dana kula so be ko la ka ko fandi le ko
alhamdulillah a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim ko doke ila kumo ila diali nyin karo benda bake nyimo kuleti kaje ko hansa UDP lannaya membe mbulu anin lannaya membe mbulu anin senaya membe mbulu anin tonya membe mbulu hansa o tonya kile nyine ben telebulu ndele baga dun tonku kudo mo gadun kudo me alon ko a nokota bara momo ni be fere jawo fanan dala UDP kamma isi fero beke ye hakilotu iyalo ne ko ibada dala nyame kadi ko kudeda ye fero fere dada UDP kamma aka tinyale aka wanyare fan mala aka wanyare nyame so oto kamo sabola parti leader la nying ko press conference abeda da bake asimol hakilo warandi ati fere kurun de dalal meli alon ko be fere kurun de dakan asi sayni no ko makaje ko ni fere kurun o tinyatale abaraka bake thank you very much
abaraka bake ayamo yo UDP TV media person Sidi atulle mol commandi pour yagana ale media le commandi media be na ke dan ko al majam yemun ko dana kulo so be men fola media house ni
abaraka bake UDP TV and media sirfo sonko keta fon konton ke tendu ke jay e be kata kol men na bayri wati be wakilem patila kola e be patila agenda wafila patila programs and policies so be yamarla ngamra press conference o men keta jang moli ya jubele live dunia tonkon bela gambia jang kumol menu fota nga moyle alon ko kuma senengol lem fana comme parti leader polu articulate nyame abe lari wole nyama bari bi UDP being the biggest political party in this country nga nyine expect ko in situations like this ibe kelale ita keno la bible because munabeje moli la ferol tabile ye landi bay ni la ferol be nyawnya ndol fanal be pareri kamale kaje ko la fere ya landi abe tinyalal adum gambianul fanal kalonko wato le sita ning maralo wato sita dorong e ka ku jamal lelje UDP la wato le sita UDP la maralo le wato sita wala asabu nyim fere jawol ka tabi UDP kam ba nyim ferol titano dawda sirfo comme yaaje nyame press conference wala karot journalist wol men fanana ta jang ke tentu ke jay kaje ko UDP is media friendly yalo na 24th anniversary nying a bejele fam pour kan na tights bambandi ni journalist ol tema nga yirol dilala même ketani seedling solti plant sol kadi journalist ol la men keta network 3 solti kaje ko ya plant la area la nyin kamala mutual the mutual respect the mutual understanding membe UDP ni journalist ol tema o sigana continue bari journalist ol la role nyim banko ka kumata bakele ka informational futande molla ka molu kala mutandi ko la me alon ko be tama kam banko ka then be all the media outlets men yalo benta jang be tentulam be jayla pati fanala media outlets solunge be konto men yalo be nata jang ka UDP TV and media mol fanal ke fanal be konton ke tentu ke jay thank you
enen mbara bake dad atolle multi me yalon ko atolle mo UDP la alfalde almeda patio kono na long ko men ñom ferol me yalon ko be kekante aliya sifa jama takinu enen ka futa bima ese wati fono mole ko men ñom sifa UDP men takki bare an bi UDP fele ibe bamane ansa
alam dulu in kilometer UDP kanne fende fo ngadandirole ke yalo ni molu dang foye bayindi wala na yin ferisi ba bring epi la time kana tu ku sayna ku jamala fodan tolma kiti jamala keta bari mo bu ka bolon tolma ya jele ya kela mo wat sa nyim fanan nal na me keku anyasi waya jamme fe
say mina mu defal la yamalo ti mo ko mo la ko lu UDP dingol ay dem fele be election sawla ko mina mo la yamalo ti UDP dingol ko men ila hakil to ko ni sifa
ayalon comme mbe alon say la problème mo UDP let so say ni ben dol bayndi kan UDP ko fanam besi ke hakil tulat il faut que mo keko itadula imadula kantu isisilo soro na silawo silala mo nyanda fere kala ka bori wala dalil tebul ba fefero la dalil fefero be wala pour silo soro don do wote
the duty that
na UDP Alfred
almost by 20%, which is very high for the average Gambian, and the stable that is right, because farming is not done on a very large scale.
So we have a little process. Yes, if you go back. Kemo? Zadal? Yes, Abarakabaka. Well, you know. Zadal, how are you always? Kemo? Yes. I told them more people along, I told them UDP media personnel, or UDP funding, and you call them for the mayor along, Sierra Macam, come on the mayor along, funding Kolo, I will never the back. Minamula Yamaro, the funding Kolo.
Dawa men fala do wolam ko kamobe tendo kamobe jay katandi ko ni mukula ti mayaron ko kusuno dum balum kadu momo e UDP la standing point la UDP la lord la lom igalo no control sira ma fe woni momo memo ben kamo mantora to lo mantara koto so ning kadam tolti ku me alon kay you know ay sunu bake ba fana mentandi fana wolam ko man sa kunda nyanta nyamen kala funding kel kay ma ke kan because na kada nun ko ye chance di non funding ke la puri fan ko ndafuda la ning ndulato bari ntol babem fala do wolon ko ka jibe do police fana mbele do ko kala nyame kan yaji be jang ye funding ke jamal le sorom tayla ko la ye funding ke jamal le sorom ko la melano ka manjara bari ntol ba fana yaji be ke la do ko ke la do ko nyanda sala nyame niaji be nin ko na rak ko di me alon ko ntala disappointment personally walam ko member of the security force anna kada police on mela report o sa for ate audio bonde ka UDP to dinya andon kabinda des fax finding ken ay mem fo ko botol la ba moto kono wala nyama boto ina radio ko box la fo mun ka fo ningel ka na box box sabale mo boyo nyumul o ko le mo boyo nyumul so ndol we ko kada ko di mela ko professional karola woyentolu ayen disappoint back but ntol ba fala dunia mo le ko dronko UDP la lord la menti walam ko lafta le in case follow to the letter momo me anon ko walle batinyaro la walun salon ko nyi la batinyaro because ndol leto tinyata ni ko kono and ma make sure le ko na ko be find out baraka ba
abaraka ba ke wole mu kemoti barka baba ke thank you badumulu mbedan la jang fo wat côté comme ka aliya nyameng media household bele na jang thank you very much.